Hi everyone, it's Susan. Welcome back. Just an update. Yesterday was my last injection, and I didn't quite hit the 130. I mean, my actual goal had been to hit 125 at the end of this round, but I did not know that. And if you've been watching for a bit, you know I've been having a lot of ups and downs, and this round hasn't been going as well as I would like. So today I've got my last injection, my LIW. So on Wednesday at the end I was 132.6. That was on day 36. And on this round, at that point, when I averaged it out, I was losing 0.48 pounds per day, which is actually, you know, very close to the 0.5 kind of golden number. I think of it as a magic number of, you know, what to strive for. So not bad, actually, when I look at it that way. So if you're having some troubles and you're feeling kind of like I was, very frustrated and downhearted and discouraged, if you average out your weight loss like that, sometimes you can be pleasantly surprised, because I was. So the next day, Thursday, day 37, I was at 132.8, so I'd gained 0.2 pounds. And then day 38, I was down 1.4 pounds at 131.4, and I stayed that way the next day, day 39, and day 40, which was yesterday, the last day of injections, I was at 131.6, so I'd gained 2 pounds, 0.2 pounds back. A big problem I found this past week is constipation, which I'm sure you all struggle with as well, and nothing has worked. I'm still that way, and nothing has worked. So I tried my usual Smooth Move tea, which is a herbal laxative tea, and that didn't work. So I got some glycerin suppositories. That didn't work. And then I went and got some Senecot, and that hasn't worked either. So then I've tried Senecot together with the suppositories, and that hasn't worked. So there you go. But today, which is Monday, February 25th, day 41, my LIW is 130.4, so I lost 1.2 pounds. Even though I'm still constipated, I think that I may have reached my 130 if it wasn't for that. But whatever, it is what it is, and I'll take it. That's, you know, that's good. So Wednesday I'll be doing the whole shebang, my end of round 2, because that'll be my last day that I'm on BLCD. So Thursday I get to be semi-normal again, except for starches and sugars, which I plan on staying away from anyhow. As I was saying last week, I am going to eat a modified paleo diet, and so paleo, there's no grains whatsoever, and there's no dairy, and no processed or refined foods, no sugars. So I'm big on dairy. I mean, it's not the best thing, but I'm not a milk drinker, but I do like yogurt. I love cheese, so I am going to keep those in moderation. But the bulk of my diet will be vegetables, and then yeah, so it'll be based around vegetables, then meat, and then fruits. And after that will come the things like nuts and seeds, and then I'll add in a bit of dairy, some cheese to flavor things, some yogurt for snacks. The snacks on the paleo are so limited. It's I was taught, as you know, part of my training as an herbalist, because I majored in nutrition, is that every snack should contain fruit or vegetable. It doesn't have to be both fruit or vegetable, a good fat and a protein. And so on paleo, basically it's meat, some kind of meat, whether it's left over. If you made a roast the night before, you can have some cold sliced roast beef as a snack with some vegetables, and you know that. And then there's things like fruit with nut butter, and I do love nut butters, like, and peanuts are out because it's a legume, and grains and legumes are a no-no on paleo, which is fine. I'm okay with that. I do like, you know, some legumes. I'm not a grain person anyway, but I am a lover of legumes, so I mean, once in a while, again with paleo, if you're trying to lose weight on paleo, you stick to paleo 95% of the time, and 5% you're allowed to cheat and have things that you want. If you're just doing it for health, and that's how I'm going to approach it, is not doing it gung-ho. There's a level 1, and I believe, I'd have to look at the book, but I can't remember what the split is there, and I think level 2, which is the maintenance, is something like an 80-20 rule. I don't know, maybe that's the first level or the second. So I am going to stick with that. At some point I may want to go to level 3, which is the 95-5 rule for losing weight. I may do that before, I may do that as in preparation for going back on going on to my third round of HCG. But yeah, other than that, I think I'll kind of go with the 80-20 rule and try to have 80% strict paleo, and then that little 20% where if I want a slice of pizza, I can have it, or you know, or pasta instead of, you know, using spaghetti squash. Or I do have a spiraler. It's this thing that you put your vegetable on it and then you turn it and it spirals it into different kind of noodle, makes it into a noodle. And generally I've only used it with zucchini, but yeah, so, you know, I do have noodle alternatives, but every once in a while, you know, if I go out for dinner, I'm gonna go ahead and have, I don't go out to eat very often, but you know, if I want a burger with a bun, or, you know, go to an Italian restaurant or have a slice of pizza, whatever, as long as I'm not abusing it. They do give you certain meals that are open that end up being, you know, going to your little magic equation. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, so last in my LIW, 130.4. Last, you know, a few years ago when I did HCG, it was springtime. I think I started in May. Yeah, I did. I started in May, and then did my rounds. So it wasn't winter. This has been quite an eye-opening experience doing it in winter. So on Thursday, when I post my next, or my next This Week in HCG Beauty, I will be talking about how to best prepare your skin before you go, you know, before you start your round. And I think it goes hand in hand. I realized this time, because it was winter, that you know, my second round, my skin hasn't been nearly as bad. Last round, round 1, it was the dead of winter here in Canada, and brutally cold and dry, and my skin, I was just parched. It was like my lips were parched, my face, especially around my eyes, my hands. I ended up with cracks all in my, you know, I ended up with bandages on these 3 fingers on both hands constantly. It was painful having those cracks in my fingers. So then between round 1 and 2, I really did work at repairing and rejuvenating my skin and rehydrating it. But also it did prepare it for round 2. So when I went on to round 2 this time, it hasn't been nearly as bad. Granted, although it is still really cold here, it's not like it was. But that being said, I think because I'm in ketosis, I'm freezing all the time. Like, I'm always cold, so I've got the furnace turned up, and you know, the forced air heating, it dries out the air a lot. So it's still you know, dry skin is still a problem. So I have got some products on my list, my my product list of, you know, HC or phase 2 safe cosmetics and skincare products, and you can go to HCG Chica's site for a free download of that. But so I think between the products that I'm using, as well as having prepared my skin before this round, it hasn't been nearly as bad. I mean, my hands are a little dry, but nowhere near the way it was. I don't have any band-aids on my fingers. My lips aren't, you know, they don't look like snake skin. They don't look all scaly or anything like that. The skin under my eyes, not bad at all. So between the products that I'm using on round 2, as well as having prepped my skin between round 1 and 2, made a big difference. So I'll share some of that with you, as well as some DIY recipes over the next few weeks that I found helpful. And there, I mean, even past P2, it'll be, they're great recipes, skincare recipes anyhow, but especially when you can't put oil, like generally I like to use, for example, extra virgin coconut oil, you know, putting that on your face and your hair as a mask, and you're rubbing it into your scalp, and you know, all those kinds of things that you can't do on P2. So I found some ways around it that were acceptable, definitely. So I'll talk about that in the coming weeks. I'll kind of do a little series on, you know, things you can do while on P2 and things you can do to prep yourself for going on a round of HCG. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. I think it's good news. Like I said, my hopes were to have reached 125 as my LIW, but with the problems I was having, I modified that and said I would be happy with 130. I got 130.4, considering that, you know, I haven't gone to the bathroom in probably 5 days at least, maybe even 7. I'll take that. I'm okay with that. And you know, I've already realized. I realized probably 2 weeks ago. I resigned myself to the fact that I would have to do a 3rd round. So that's just the way. That's the way the cookie crumbles, right? And it's not a failure. It's just an experience of, you know, how to release that weight, and you know what your body is capable of doing at what speed it's capable of doing it at. And like I said, I think if you're at a point where you're discouraged, as I was, and frustrated with the scale, the numbers on the scale not moving down as quickly as you'd like, you know, take your weight loss and average it and see. You know, like for me it was 0.48. Well, that's really close to half a pound a day. You're not going to lose that on Weight Watchers or anything like that. So I, you know, when I saw that, I went, well, I didn't do that bad. I guess maybe the weight, more of that weight came off in the beginning, and then it slowed down here towards the end, but that's okay. The other thing I'm realizing is I've been doing IM injections, intramuscular, rather than the sub-Q. So the needle is 1.5 inches long, and even though it's thin, I seem to be hitting like muscle whenever I poke it in, and then I tried it in my stomach, and there's not enough fat on there, left on there to make it comfortable. Like it was awful. But I'm realizing I'm like really hitting muscle and things, and it's not I'm getting to the point where I have to close my eyes, and I'm getting squeamish, and I usually have to take 2 or 3 pokes before I can inject. So I will probably do the sub-Q next time for round 3. Yeah, so that's it for today. That's my big news. I will talk to you in a few days and keep you updated and do this week at HCG Beauty. And until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay the course. Bye.